Good morning, YouTubians. It's Kim. It's Monday, the 1st of July 2024. I'm on the seafront at the moment. You've got one of those upside down houses right behind me. There's a few of these dotted around the country. Unusual things. Anyway, it is a Blu-ray release day and I'm heading up to town to see what new releases hit the shelves. I don't think there's anything I'm after today, but I will film everything that does come out. I have some subscriber mail to show you. A couple of titles from last week, one of which I'm featuring the locations of, and there's also an import as well. So it'll be at least 4 to talk about. I'm going to go and grab a coffee along the way and then I'll bring you back home and show you what I picked up. I'm not going to be here next week, I'm going to be very busy. And actual fact, I'm going to show a clip, because it's all to do with my daughter's wedding. I'm going to show a clip after this of Ernie the pug. He's in his new suit that we've had ordered in, fits him a treat, and I'll put that out. He's as cute as a button. Anyway, going to head up to grab a coffee and then have a look around HMV and see what's out. I'll see you all in the conclusion. Now here's a question for you. How many of you viewers remember a song that hit the charts in 1973 by Tony Orlando and Dawn? You may get this reference, although this really should have been an old oak tree. Anyway, as promised, here's Ernie the pug in his wedding suit. He's going to be the ring bearer. And here he is without his jacket on, just his shirt, waistcoat and tie for the evening festivities. How cute is he? So as I mosey into HMV on this Blu-ray release Monday, I see they still have the Godzilla X Kong display stand in the doorway. I will sidestep that and head over into the right-hand side of the entrance to see which t-shirt is on display. And over in the corner, not on a mannequin, is one for Blackpink. It's priced at $24.99. The first title is Kung Fu Panda 4. It's got the voice talents of Jack Black, Awkwafina, Bryan Cranston, Ian McShane, James Hong, Viola Davis and Dustin Hoffman. This is Poe trying to find his replacement as Dragon Warrior as he's set to become the spiritual leader. This is priced at £14.99. Next is Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, a slasher horror from this year. After the events of the last film, Christopher Robin is thought to be behind it all, and the 100-acre wood creatures are set to head off into the town of Ashdown for more bloody carnage. This is priced at £12.99. Next is Back to Black, put out by Studio Canal. This is a biographical drama directed by Sam Taylor Johnson, and this film charts the highs and lows of Amy Winehouse's rise to fame from 2003 to just 8 years later in 2011 when she was found dead from alcohol poisoning. Amy Winehouse is being portrayed by Marisa Abela, and Amy's father Mitch is being played by Eddie Marsan. This comes as a standard Blu-ray priced at £14.99, a 4K priced at £24.99, and there's an exclusive HMV first edition which comes with a 32-page booklet, 3 art cards and an A3 poster, and that comes in at £34.99. Quatermass next. This 4-episode show stars John Mills as a title character and it aired from October 24th to the 14th of November 1979. It's about an alien threat as well as a government collapse and one man looking for his granddaughter. This is priced at £29.99. Next is Floating Clouds, a Japanese drama produced by the same company that owns the Godzilla rights. This is about a young woman, Yakiko, who loves a man who is already married and seeing another mistress on the side. Sounds like a catch. This is directed by Makio Nayuse and is priced at £16.99. Next is Night of the Eagle, aka Burn Witch Burn, a brilliant little horror movie from 1962 about witchcraft and revenge. This stars Peter Wingard, Janet Blair, Anthony Nichols and Margaret Johnson. I recommend this one. £14.99 for this film. Next is Heimat, an 11-episode drama telling the story of the villagers of Schwabach in Germany from 1919 to 1982. There are 3 seasons in total. This is season 1, which has a runtime of 889 minutes. The entire show, if you do become invested, runs at 59.5 hours. This is priced at £44.99 and is released through Second Sight. Stop Motion next, a British live-action adult animated psychological horror from last year. It's about an animator's daughter who's trying to finish her mother's work and is getting some story advice from a girl in her building. This seems to have some disturbing suggestions. Written and directed by Robert Morgan, and this is priced at £12.99. Next is The Holy Virgin vs. the Evil Dead. This Hong Kong martial arts film has 2 cuts. In one version, the ladies are naked, the other, they are clothed. So I guess this has both. So expect gore, nudity, monsters and martial arts. Sounds like a film for Blue Justin. This is priced at £16.99. Buddy Daddies. Next, a Japanese animated comedy about three assassins in their 20s who live in the same building as one of their targets, a 4-year-old girl called Miri, who could possibly be biologically linked to one of the killers. This 12-episode series is priced at £32.99. Next is Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, another Japanese anime. This is about a mild-mannered man with 3 students who get powers bestowed upon them. The man's powers at first seem pointless, but as he uses them, he realises they are very powerful indeed. This is priced at £34.99. The final film to show you in the new releases is The Last Breath. This is a horror thriller about a group of college friends who scuba dive at the site of a World War II sunken battleship, only to be stalked by sharks. This one is priced at £12.99. Hey everybody, welcome back. There's some subscriber mail. There's a German import and 2 titles which came out just last week, so I'm going to crank straight on with it. Okay, first one to show you is subscriber mail. You can see it's from Jamie Powell. Look at the packaging right there. That's a big giveaway. There is a note inside, so I'll get to that next. So, oh, it's double-sided. It says on this side, Z-Note, copyright Jamie Powell. No, slippy slip, sorry. Not a sponsor. Bye. Bit of an in-joke between me and Jamie Powell. Anyway, I will put this side up there so you can read along with me. It says, Dear Kermit's Ghost, the third, twice removed, once caught, never convicted. Right there, that gives you an insight into Jamie's mind. It says, I hope that you and the Foggy family are all well. Please find enclosed a fantastic little film for your viewing pleasure. Ooh, thank you for being such a great friend. You are like family to us, and you and Katie are like family to us too, Jamie. You know that weird uncle who stares at you with one wonky eye in the corner of the room, drooling with anticipation? That's got to be you though, isn't it? Uncle Fester. Anyway, thank you for always listening to my problems. I appreciate it so much. Enjoy the film. All my love, Jamie. Awesome. Let's see what he sent me. Okay, Jamie has sent me the film River. It is a Japanese Groundhog style movie from last year. It's directed by Yato Yamaguchi. He's the man behind the sci-fi time travel film called Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. And this is set in a beautifully picturesque hotel called Fujira, which is next to the Kaibin River. And the film starts off with a waitress called Mikoto, who's being played by Rika Fujitani. She takes a few seconds break from her daily duties, stands next to the river with her hands together in deep thought. She gets back to work, and then 2 minutes later she resets and she's back at the river, same position. Thinking at first it's got to be a case of deja vu, well you would, wouldn't you? She carries on. 2 minutes later, boom, she's back at the river with full recollection of what's transpired within that time loop. And she's not alone either. The co-workers and guests all experience that time loop and recall the events. Now, at first they tried to make everybody comfortable in the hotel as to not create panic in any way. And then they look for someone to blame. Mikoto is obviously top of the list because she was making a wish at the river at the time. And then eventually we find that everybody in the hotel, staff included, have a reason that they want time to slow down or stop. And then they work towards an actual solution for the time loop problems. Such a fun film. I loved it. I was very dubious at first with a 2-minute time loop, but it works really well. And the conclusion is satisfying. Simple but effective. All the characters, and there's around 10 of them, were all very engaging. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 26 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So on the disc we have a close-up of Mikoto, who is sitting on the stairs. So that was River. Thank you, Jamie Powell. You, mate, are a star. Next one is a German import of The Beekeeper. It's an action thriller from this year, directed by David Ayer. His movies include Sabotage and Suicide Squad. And this one stars Jason Statham as Adam Clay. He is the beekeeper. If only it's that simple. Obviously he has a secret past, and we'll circle back to that in just a moment. Now, an old lady and a close friend to Adam called Eloise is one day called by a con man from a company linked to Danforth Enterprises and basically scammed out of several $1 million. Eloise is being played by Felicia Rashad, who you may know as Adonis Creed's mother in Creed 1 and 2. Eloise is riddled with both guilt and shame, and she decides she's going to take her own life. And this is when we're introduced to Verona, which is Eloise's daughter, who happens to be an FBI agent. She informs Adam as to why Eloise has taken her own life, and Adam decides he's going to set things right, and immediately he burns the call centre down to the ground. And this is when it gets kicked up further up the chain, and they want their pound of flesh from Adam, which is never a good idea. This was a very good film, well paced, plenty of action. I won't say any more story wise, but I will also mention it stars Josh Hutcherson as the call centre owner who scammed Eloise, and there's also Jeremy Irons as Wallace. He was a former director at the CIA, but he keeps the Danforth Enterprises company safe from scandals and publicity. I'll also mention the call centre is an illicit offshoot of the company that Wallace is keeping safe, and he wasn't aware of the illicit dealings. And there's also Minnie Driver as well as the current director of the CIA. It's also important to mention that the Beekeepers are a secret clandestine program within the CIA. And well, that's it, I'll leave it there. It's got a runtime of 106 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So the front cover image has been put onto the disc. Unfortunately, there is no reversible cover for this German release. So that was The Beekeeper. Next is Lower Decks Season 4, and we finally caught up with the American releases. The UK release of Season 3 on Blu-ray came out just 2 months ago, which was, 2 years after America, and 8 weeks later, this season's dropped. Strange, but I'll take it. As with the other seasons, this has 10 episodes. I've gone over the premise recently with the April release on Blu-ray, so I won't go over it again. I covered the storyline, the characters, how the show's idea came to fruition. So if you want to know, go back to my video, which is dated April 15th, hashtag 233. If you're interested in the show, then you probably know it anyway. If not, you probably don't care at all. There's one more season, and that is due to air later this year, so maybe a January Blu-ray release for that. Fingers crossed. This has got a runtime of 257 minutes. Let's take a look inside and see what you get for your money. So the slipcover and the cover have the same image, which is definitely a nod to Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, my favourite of the Star Trek films. I know, but it is. There are 2 discs. And on the reverse of the cover, you have an episode guide. So that was Lower Decks Season 4. Okay, next and last is Jigsaw. It's a murder mystery from 1962, directed by Val Guest, who also wrote the screenplay and produced it. And it stars Jack Warner, who you may know if you're of a certain age from the show Dixon of Dock Green. He was the title character George Dixon in that. Here he is playing Detective Inspector Fred Fellows. Now the film opens up with a murder and a break-in. These are linked, but they're in separate locations. A Detective Sergeant Jim Wilkes, being played by Ronald Lewis, is called to the break-in at the estate agents. Jack and Ronald have actually worked together in a film from 1953 called The Square Ring, which was directed by Basil Dearden, who made The Man Who Haunted Himself, which I showed just last week. Anyway, digressing. The owner of the estate agents isn't happy at all the way D.S. Wilkes is handling the case, so D.I. Fellows is added to the investigation. And to cut a long story short, the 2 officers are led to a house in Bungalow Road where they discover a dismembered corpse of a woman who is partially cremated in the basement furnace. There's some luggage in the hallway with her initials on it, which leads them from one clue to another. There are a lot of red herrings in this movie, be warned. They even reference the case is as tough as the Agatha Christie story. Also, I did mention last week that this film was shot right here in Brighton, so as soon as I'm done talking, I will show you some comparison shots, location shots, most of which are unaltered for the most part. This also stars Yolande Dolan, who was married to the director at the time. She plays the lady whose initials were on the luggage. And there's also John Le Mesurier from Dad's Army. He is a grieving father. I did buy this purely because it was set in Brighton, but I've watched it twice, thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a little gem of a movie. It's got a runtime of 108 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So the front cover image has been put onto the disc, and on the reverse of the cover there is a screenshot from the film. So that was Jigsaw from 1962. Okay, so here I am at one of the locations. It is very hot today. We're talking 30 degrees, very busy outside. And we're at the location on the seafront where Jack Warner's character is about to interview one of the witnesses. Location is right over to the side. I'll pan the camera around so you can see.
So back in 1962, the pavement area did not extend past these pillars, but today it's an eating area, and you may be able to make out the staircase behind those parked cars in the film clip. And as we pan through these pillars, you can see the doorway at the end, plus the shops to the right. So it's pretty much unchanged except for the pavement. I've slowed down the clip in the corner to try and match my footage.
Okay, we are at our second location. This is about a mile down the road. It's on the seafront. It's at the Brighton Centre. This used to be a Regency building, but they've knocked it down since the filming of Jigsaw. The film was in 1962. This went up 1972. It's a monstrosity. hopefully they'll knock this down. It's an ever-evolving city. It's more of an establishing shot. It's at the first investigated crime scene, which is at an estate agent's, and it's more of, I'd say, a photograph than a shot really, because it's a quick glimpse of the seafront ahead. So what I'll do is film this location, and then I'll show you the film over the top of it of exactly where we are. Okay, so back in the 60s, we used to have a load of Regency buildings along here, beautiful architecture. This was a through road, you can gain access to the street beyond. However, they built this disgustingly hideous building in 1972. Hopefully, times will change, they will rip this down pretty soon. And let me head over to there, to that lamppost, and I'll show you the shot from the letting office. Letting office would have been right on this corner here where these glass windows are.
May be able to see the building in the foreground. Originally it was brick, but since been rendered in plaster, and it is the Harbour Hotel.
Okay, so we're about a mile away from the last shot, and we're at the Brighton train station. This one is shot at night, so bear with me on that. Picture's a little bit dark. I'm taking these images off YouTube, not the Blu-ray. So in this scene, the first detective that is assigned to the case is interviewing a black cab driver, trying to get some information on a passenger. And I'll turn the camera around and show you exactly where that conversation took place. This point, and then the cab driver moves off. Film, it was a hardware shop. The detective's trying to find out if the shopkeeper sold Okay, I'm at my next location, which is on the corner. Okay, the next two shots take place in Church Street. One is on the junction of Bond Street, the other on the junction of New Road. I'll explain more when I get there. Or a knife or a hacksaw, which are common objects. So it's a bit of a red herring, but we'll show you the scene now, and then I'll move on to the next one, which is only about 100 yards down the road. Okay, so the next scene takes place where the Wagon and Horses was. Used to be a cafe on that corner. This is the corner of Bond Street. No, it isn't.
So this scene actually takes place at night, and it's in the shop directly to the right, which is now a bespoke tailor's. In the clip is a hardware store. Opposite we have the William IV pub, which in the film was the Bond Street Butchers.
This location on the window.
So as Jack enters the cafe, you can see in the modern setting there's an image on the wall of two women next to three pillars, and in the clip, instead of the women, it's written George Biddle's and Son, plus you can see the pillars in the shot.
A lot of the shots are ground based, but one of them is taken from the top of that building. Obviously I can't get access to that building, so I'll do my best to represent what is shown in the movie.
Here we have the shot of Jack's character passing that pillar box, talking to an Evening Argus newspaper seller. This corner remains pretty much intact. You saw the pillar box earlier, plus these wrought iron railings behind them. Jack is then joined by Ronald's character as they head towards the police station entrance. So this is the shot from on top of the building I showed a moment ago. I've slowed this clip down so I could squeeze it in. It sees a police car driving around the former police station, heading directly to the seafront, which is no longer possible, as in 1987 the Ramada Renaissance Hotel was built, which is now known as the Leonardo Royal Hotel. So this shot is on the opposite side of the building in Bartholomew's, which is actually opposite Quadrophenia Alley. Anyway, in this clip we see a murder suspect being led into the side entrance of the police station, with his identity being obscured by his coat. This entrance is actually used now as a fire escape. Okay, so this is the house where the murder takes place, and it was a little trickier to locate. I knew the area pretty well because my mother-in-law lives nearby, but this was up a bridle way on private land. It's a caretaker's house on a private residential caravan park,
But that wasn't going to stop me. This features around 17 minutes into the film, and it's told in flashbacks by a witness.
So I hope you enjoyed this.
You can see they've clearly removed those chimney pots, but you can still see the stacks on the side of the house.
The clips used in the film, they were...
Okay, so in this shot I'm stood on one of the side road embankments where the witness was stood hanging out a washing and talking to DI fellows about the suspicious activities that transpired at the house. Now, aside from those modern caravans, this area looks pretty much as if it's unchanged. Looks like they've still got the same telephone poles going down the side of the road as well.
Thank you, Powell, for sending me River. Thoroughly enjoyed that, mate. Cheers. Appreciate it. So that was it. Have you seen any of those? Plan to pick them up or just want to leave a comment? Then do so down below. I will read every single one and try to reply if I have the time. Give the video a thumbs up, really does help the channel, and subscribe if you haven't. It's all free. Why wouldn't you? On that note, all that's left to say is thank you so much for choosing my channel today and watching my video. Take care. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.